It's a new day. Yes, it is.
What's up, y'all? Icon back again, doing the Wrestlemania review real quick. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. The show just ended not too long ago. It went past midnight like we knew it would. You know, the show starts at sunup, went over at sundown. With me today for this special edition of the Wrestlemania recap, we got first all the way from Rockaway.
F5. That's your man Eb on the mic.
All right, and then the mother boy, best friend since day one.
It's your boy J1, a.k.a. Dot The Boss.
All right, so we're going to quickly get into this because there were, including the Elias situation, there were 17 matches on this card. So this is, they call this like the grandest, like the biggest party of the year. It's actually the longest party of the year. So starting it off, and it was funny because Evan, I don't know if you know this, but I was telling Jay when 4:30 hit, like I left to go to Popeyes to get something to eat because I figured I was like, I'll be back by 5 o'clock and then I can start watching the pre-show. By the time, and mind you, like I took the bus to go get food and I came back. I was back real quick, and as soon as I came home, Tony Nese had just won the Cruiserweight Championship. So I missed the entire Cruiserweight match. Did you get a chance to see it or no?
Yeah, I basically kept up with the whole match, just like you, because I was dragging my feet, in the early day. I should have got all my food early, but I ended up leaving just as the show started. But unlike you, I didn't take a bus. I just took a brisk walk to the nearest pizza shop. But I was watching the whole fight on my phone the whole time, especially since I had to wait for them to cook my food.
Yeah. Did anything special happen? Was there
nothing? Well, nothing to me stands out exponentially. If you are a follower of the 205 Live that comes on weekly, they basically do what they do best. They put on the best show that the Cruiserweight division can provide. Buddy Murphy, the Buddy Murphy was the solid, the juggernaut as he always, and Tony Nese, this was basically his moment to shine. I kind of wish that they put more. I kind of wish that they would have put slightly more. Note on the fact that he is a New York boy. So.
Oh, Tony Nese?
Yeah. Nese, Nese, to my knowledge, I think he came from either Queens or Long Island. And shit.
Oh,
he's a New York boy.
That's actually weird. They didn't mention that. Well,
yeah.
Right.
So.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was it, right? Nothing. You said nothing happened. He beat him. He got the belt. So he's a face now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. They basically got all their a cool little they basically got all their cool the good hot spots in. So. All
right. So congrats to Tony Nese. After that was the women's battle royal. And I thought it was pretty cool because Jay, you said you saw the Hall of Fame. Evan, I don't know if you saw the entire Hall of Fame, but I like how when they were talking about China during the DX Hall of Fame speech, X-Pac had said that if we have the Andre the Giant one for the men, they should name the women's one after China.
Yes, I remember that.
And then
what I thought that they would do, but
not to interrupt, but real quick,
okay.
On the Tony Nese, Tony Nese is a Long Island guy.
Ah, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. All right. But with the China thing, once he said that and everybody started clapping, they immediately put the camera on Stephanie McMahon and she was like, nah. But it would be nice if they did that because they tried to name it after Mae Young and that shit backfired on them. But there weren't a lot of women. There were a lot of women in the match, but a lot of them came from NXT. Asuka was in it after losing the belt to Charlotte. Naomi was in it. She was the winner of last year's. For some reason, a lot of people thought that Lacey Evans was going to win the Battle Royal. And I don't know why people thought that because Lacey Evans doesn't do anything except come out. She walks down the ramp and then she turns around.
But that's part of the gift. But that's basically part of like the whole other build up. Because even tonight, like she just like popped her head in and then she left, and they were all thinking like, okay, you've been doing this for like a few months. We assumed that there was going to be a payoff at Mania because because right after the first hour of the pre-show, then we got the tag team of Hawkins Ryder against the Revival, and Hogan and Ryder is another, like team where you guys can poke into your head in from time to time, but y'all haven't really done anything of impact, but we're going to give you guys a WrestleMania moment. So I guess people just figure like, okay, so if they're going to keep dragging this on with Lacey Evans, the only time we saw her do anything was the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but she did compete in the Royal Rumble, but Lacey Evans wasn't even in the Women's Battle Royal.
No.
So that was personally, I thought Asuka should have won the Battle Royal because since they unnecessarily took the title off of her, but
that was an obvious.
Like you said, but like sticking with the hometown theme, Carmella wins the Women's Battle Royal, and if it's anything like with last year's, that's not like her win isn't going to amount to anything either. So after that, they did like you said, they did the Raw tag match. It was Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder versus the Revival, and like Jay, like Hawkins has been doing this thing where like he's been wrestling on like Superstars and like Main Event, and he's basically lost every single match that he had. They said that tonight, going into tonight's WrestleMania, they said that he had 269 losses.
69.
And they, and they were making fun of him because like he's a loser and he's teaming with Zack Ryder, but and the Revival, who was said to have asked for their release, people were just like, well, if WWE wants to keep them, of course they're going to win the tag team match. But like you said, the pre-show seemed to be about giving the hometown people like the victory, and for some reason, Kurt Hawkins finally got a victory, and him and Zack Ryder are the new Raw tag team champions. So my question is this: do either of you see the two of them keeping those belts past tomorrow?
Well, if it's anything like how they did Ryder when he used to win the belts, then probably not.
Yeah. I'm not sure because it's one of those situations where it's like those guys did ask for their release, and you don't know exactly what happened in the locker room with their contract. Yeah. So, they could actually have their release. So you never know what Zack Ryder and what's the other guy's name? Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, so you never know what can happen with them. And those guys do bring a lot of energy to the ring. So again, it's not like you're putting in. Well, I don't want to call them bums. I really don't. I don't want to call them bums, but at the same time, they do have that energy. And right before Zack Ryder got hurt, remember back what was like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And then Hawkins was going solo for a little while. They were just getting started at one point.
Yeah.
So they were on that track. They were on the track to possibly being tag team champions at one point. So it's like, it's possible that they could, pick up that storyline that they once had.
Yeah.
Or they could just shit on them all over again. I mean,
I'm in the camp of they're going to shit on, like, here's my prediction. They're going to get in the ring. They're going to talk about how it was great to win the belts at home, and because the next Raw and SmackDown is going to be at the Barclays Center. So they're still going to be in New York. And the Authors of Pain, one of them was injured for a while, and I think he's back now. My whole thing is, I feel like tomorrow they're going to be in the ring addressing the audience. They're going to have to defend the tag team titles, and it's going to be against the Authors of Pain, and they're going to kill them and take the belts from them. I honestly don't.
I'm going to take the unpopular. I'm going to take the unpopular road. I'm going to say they're going to ride these belts out for a little while.
All right. I mean, actually, I mean, for Kurt Hawkins' sake, I hope so. But after that, then it was the men's battle royal, which to me, honestly, it was like completely useless because when the whole point of the battle royal was to do the whole Braun Strowman thing with the two guys from Saturday Night Live. As soon as the battle royal, yeah, and like nobody cared about that. Like that shit should have went first.
And that was the only storyline to go in then besides the power dudes.
Like if anything, like the cruiserweight match should have main evented the pre-show. But the match starts. Braun Strowman basically threw out everybody. The black dude from Saturday Night Live, he tried to actually run out of the ring, and then Strowman grabbed him and smacked him up, threw him over the top rope. The white dude tried to get his lawyer involved or somebody, and his lawyer got beat up. And then Braun Strowman threw him out of the ring, and Braun Strowman won the Andre Giant Battle Royal. Nothing really to say there because we all know like winning that doesn't do anything for your career. So I mean that whole thing was really just completely pointless. So then the quote unquote actual pay-per-view started. For personal reasons, I'm just gonna skip over the part where Hogan came out, and I'm gonna get right to the first match because actually, I mean, I do have to say this though, because Alexa Bliss and Hogan were on the stage having a conversation, like doing the pose or whatever, and then Paul Heyman just showed up and just walked right past him and made a beeline. Yeah, he just like made a beeline to the ring, and he flat out said, he was like, look, if Brock Lesnar is not the main event of WrestleMania, he was like, we're not going to sit here till 3 o'clock in the morning, just so we can have a squash match against Seth Rollins. He was like, fuck that, we're going to do the title match right now. And then Seth Rollins came out, Michael Cole tried to say like, oh, he's not ready. And I'm like, first of all, it's WrestleMania. If you ain't ready, like if you ain't ready at this point,
if you ain't ready right now, if you're not ready, you're not ready.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be ready at 3 a.m.
I mean, but it's like, with that being said, when they did that portion where they reminded us who the Hall of Fame was from last night, I mean, like Triple H and Natalya, they had matches like later on, and they damn sure Nami wasn't ready. So,
I mean, but I was saying this earlier because like Jay and I we were talking about who was going to win because the three main matches on the show was the women's match, the Kofi match, and the Brock Seth match. And I felt, because I thought they were going to put all three matches towards the end. And I was like, well, there's no way in hell Vince is going to give us a feel-good moment in all three of those matches. So somebody's going to have to get left out. And I thought Seth Rollins would be the one to get left out because people was invested in his situation the least out of all three. But what I noticed, except you. Except you. But I thought it was smart what they did was they spread it out where Seth's match was first, Kofi's was in the middle, and then Becky's was at the end. So, but the funny thing is when he talked all this trash about how because Paul Heyman flat out said, get a referee out here, ring the bell, and let's get this over with. Because he was just like, we're gonna squash him. So Rollins gets to the ring, and before the bell even rings, Lesnar just attacks him and just whoops his ass like on the outside for about 10 minutes. And I'm like, if you're not afraid of him, if you think you can beat him in 2 seconds, if you think this is going to be easy, just let the bell ring and fight him. It's like, why do you got to whoop his ass before the bell rings just to soften him up? I didn't.
Well, a lot of it is, number one, Paul Heyman is a great manager.
Yes.
And Paul Heyman doesn't necessarily cut corners. Paul Heyman basically tells you exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
By Paul Heyman coming out this early, this was an indication that Brock Lesnar was going to lose. Because he's like, listen, I'm not going to be here all night just so we could lose. So let's get this shit over with. Let me get this shit over with. Take the belt. You're going to take it anyway. We already know Seth Rollins is going to win this. So why should we wait to the end of the night for something we already know is going to happen? Brock Lesnar is a prize fighter. So it's just like, yo, give me my money and I'm out. So basically he's like, yo, let's just get this shit over with. I know I'm going to lose. Let me get this shit over with. I have other engagements. Let's let this shit go.
And the match didn't even take that long because the majority of the match was just Brock whooping on him before the bell rang. Once the bell finally rung, you know, they both got a couple of shots in, but then when the referee fell out of the ring, Seth Rollins hit Lesnar in the nuts, gave him three curb stomps, and he won the champion. Like honestly, I think that whole match was total like 8 to 10 minutes. So,
well,
I mean, from a match,
wait. Like, the whole match being, like, you are given a timestamp are you giving that timestamp from when the bell run or from the moment that Seth got kneed in the gut?
No, he's talking about from the bell ring.
No, I'm talking about from the moment he got kneed in the ribcage. Like, I'm talking about before the bell rung.
Well, yeah.
You're giving it 8 minutes from the moment the ass whooping started.
From the moment because I feel like that was part of the match. Like, regardless if the bell quote unquote rung or not, the outside ass whooping was part of the match.
Well, yeah, because just like you said from the beginning, it's just like Brock beat him up for like 6 out of those, 8 to 10 minutes. So if the bell did ring, Brock could just did the same thing and then just pinned him, and then that was it. Like by pretty much beating him up before the bell rang, that basically gave us a match that wasn't a match.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I counted when the ass whooping started, because that was kind of the match.
Well, I mean, if you look at it from the standpoint of, okay, when I came out, from a Seth Rollins standpoint, listen, I came out here, I thought I was going to get a fair fight. Before I got in the ring, I started getting my ass whipped. Now when I get in the ring, hell, I'm not letting this shit go on that long. So I hit him in his nuts.
Yeah, and that was straight, and from the moment he did that on the Go Home show of Raw, like, that was definitely at first I was like, at first I was like, okay, slick move kind of by Seth, but then I thought, like, wait, he's kind of the baby face in this, and he's kind of doing this like last minute, going for like trying to go for the low blows and shit, and at least when Brock fought against Finn Balor, Finn was smart enough to target, Brock's stomach because people that forgot that Brock did had that he did have that stomach problem shit, that shit.
Yeah.
Finn knew that. Like, Finn knew that, and that was a good, the weakness to exploit. But then it seems like everybody else, they just figured all right, so I'll just try to low blow this dude, quick fast. That was a last minute strategy that, kind of didn't seem like it was necessary, based on what Seth was trying to, boast about.
Well, no, and you gotta understand this too. Seth Rollins, WWE, they have, you know what I'm saying? Every so often they like to recycle things. So I feel like, and just follow me. The curb stomp is like a recycle of the punt kick, because remember, when Randy Orton used to punt kick people, that was their quote unquote vacation time. So he used to punt kick people, and then you wouldn't see them for a while because obviously, they'd be out and hurt, this, that, and third. I.e., we saw that when Seth Rollins did the curb stomp to Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. Took him out for a while.
You know what I'm saying? Dean Ambrose, he had to go out for a while, this, that, and third. So I feel like this is the same thing with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's going to take a hiatus, even though he's always been on a fucking hiatus. But now, he's going to take an actual hiatus, and that's why they're going to take the belt off of him, and that's why they let Seth Rollins do the curb stomp. So he did the curb stomp because
3 times.
Because if you really look at it, he's attempted the curb stomp like 5 times, like over the last couple of years, and he's never really been able to get it off because they're using it as that. So it's like I feel like Brock is about to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with his contract, because you gotta understand, he does now, I think, have a part-time contract with the UFC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about that.
So he could be having a fight come up soon. So it's kind of like, oh, you know what I'm saying, Brock Lesnar's out of here, you know, because he's just hurt, he can't do it anymore. But he's probably got a fight coming up in the UFC real soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because you gotta remember, again, I'm going off for a second. Daniel Cormier won the heavyweight title in the UFC.
Yeah.
He wants to fight Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, when he won that title, he pointed at Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar jumped in the octagon and
that moment.
So he's like, yo, I've been trying to fight Brock Lesnar, and he wants to fight Brock Lesnar this year because he wants to retire this year. Okay. So it's kind of like, you know, are you going to make the fight or are you not going to make the fight? But you can't announce the fight if Brock Lesnar still has the WWE title.
Yeah, or the Universal title, but
exactly. So it's like, and then John Jones came back. John Jones now has the light heavyweight title. He's challenging Daniel Cormier. But Daniel Cormier is like, they're being real, like, the UFC is being silent about it because there's a possible Brock Lesnar Daniel Cormier match.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, this could be a segue for Brock Lesnar to do that.
All right. Well, I mean,
as your official UFC insider.
So, I mean, and plus they had to get the belt off him. Like, even if none of that was going on, like, people are just getting tired of him just not, like, being champion and just not being around. So, now that before we move on, now that Seth Rollins has the belt, any thoughts on his title reign? Like, because obviously him and Brock aren't gonna have a rematch. There's no way there's no way he and Brock have a rematch, which means at the next pay-per-view, Seth is gonna have a new challenger. So quick thoughts on Seth Rollins going forward.
Well, he now has the belt. I think the real question is who is the next beast going to be. I rather them not push it back on Roman Reigns. You know, even though he beat Drew Mac.
I mean, I think it's too soon for the Seth Roman for a Seth Roman feud. But I'm sorry, guys.
Because once again,
you know what? I don't think it's too early for a feud because I don't think they're gonna make it a feud.
Yeah,
they're not gonna make it to where it's like, oh, you know, like I hate you or anything like that. It's gonna be one of those. If they decide to push Roman Reigns, it's gonna be one of those. Hey man, you know, we're brothers, but I'm trying to make it back to the top of the mountain where you are. You know, a Triple H, Shawn Michaels kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't hate you. I love you, but I'm still trying to make it to the top. You know how I feel about Roman Reigns? Fuck Roman Reigns. I'm mad that Cancer lost that battle, and I'm putting that out on the internet. It is what it is.
Wow.
Well,
I mean, or
they're edit that part out.
Or they're gonna do.
I would like to see my man, my guy, the Conqueror, the real Conqueror, the real Beast, the real BL, Bobby Lashley.
Okay. I agree with that. But here's what I think is going to happen. I think tomorrow Seth is going to invite Roman in the ring. He's going to tell Roman, "Hey, listen, since you had to relinquish the title and you were never beaten, I'm going to give you a title shot right here at the Barclays Center on Monday Night Raw. That match is going to get interrupted by whoever the next challenger is going to be. Now, I agree with you.
By Baron Corbin.
Oh gosh. I mean, I agree. I agree with you in the sense of, like, I want Bobby Lashley to challenge Seth Rollins for the title. However, I don't want Bobby Lashley to be Seth Rollins' first opponent. Because whenever someone wins the championship, especially when they win the championship at Mania, the first person who challenges them always loses. So I would actually like his first challenger to be Drew McIntyre. And then, like, have a one-off match with Roman Reigns, fight Drew McIntyre, hell, do a Baron Corbin match, and then do the Bobby Lashley feud. But
well, I don't even think it needs to be a feud, because I in all honesty, I mean, who the fuck cares about Drew McIntyre and fucking Seth Rollins? Like,
a lot of people care about Drew McIntyre.
But that was my point, because again, like, whenever
why even bring his name up? Because it's like, the fuck did you do, yo? You just lost at WrestleMania.
That's assuming that wins and losses matter still, because if they do, then we're just going to see Baron Corbin be the first one to come out to the plate.
Well, no, but I'm saying, not saying that wins and losses will matter. I'm talking about the fact that you just lost at WrestleMania.
No,
I mean, you just lose it or whatever, but you just lost at WrestleMania, took Roman Reigns. What makes you think you should be even in this conversation?
No, that's a good point, but that's why I said I think Seth will give Roman a title shot, and then Drew McIntyre will break it up. Like, he'll interfere in the match, he'll ruin the match, because you're right, he doesn't deserve it, but if he interferes in the match and pisses Seth Rollins off, Seth will want to fight him now, and then he'll get the match that way. Like, all this is about is the very first person who fights Seth Rollins at a pay-per-view is going to lose. So, I just need that person to be anybody except Bobby Lashley. Yeah.
Oh, well, you mean anybody who fights him or who fights him for the title?
No, the first person who fights him for the title at Money in the Bank is not going to win that match, because the champion 90% of the time.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So let's do it this way. What if he gives Roman Reigns a title shot tomorrow night? He beat Roman Reigns. Now, the first contender is out of the way. He can lose that Money in the Bank.
But I think, like,
if by your logic, by your explanation, if by some chance he says, "Hey, you never lost the title. We're gonna, you had to relinquish, whatever. I'm gonna give you a title shot tonight. You get the title shot tonight. I beat you fair and square. You lost. Money in the Bank is up for grabs."
Yeah, but but do you think they're gonna? But for that Money in the Bank challenger to have a chance of winning, we're basically gonna have to. We're basically saying Seth Rollins is gonna be a 30-day champion, because Money in the Bank is in May, and he just won the belt today. So I think Money in the Bank is like May 15th, and I don't think they're gonna give Seth Rollins a 30-day title reign. That's why I'm just like whoever challenges the Money in the Bank is not going to win. And I just don't want it to be somebody that I'm a fan of, because I don't want that person to get the one, to get like the one and done. Although to your point, although he doesn't deserve it, I would rather Drew McIntyre get the match, because one, Drew McIntyre is a better opponent than Baron Corbin. And when Drew McIntyre loses, I won't care, because Drew should have never had the match to begin with.
Yeah. Well, either way, either way, I'm a Seth Rollins fan, so I want him to keep the belt as long as possible. I'm a Seth Rollins fan. I love Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is my guy. I would want Seth Rollins to beat everybody he comes across until he meets up with Bobby Lashley. then that's where my allegiance kind of shifts.
Agreed. So
for me, whatever Seth does, he does. He's my guy. I'm riding with him. Once Bobby Lashley steps in that ring, that's ass, bro.
So after that, they did the Randy Orton AJ Styles match. This is now the 6th match that we've had, that we've seen now. Thoughts on Orton?
In my opinion, the worst match ever.
Oh no.
I wouldn't give it the worst. It was a good standard fight. I have no negative to say about like Orton versus Styles.
The only negative thing I have to say is Orton didn't win. Go ahead.
I mean,
don't get me wrong. I love AJ Styles, man. I didn't see much of him in New Japan, but I did follow him when he came in TNA.
Yeah.
When he was doing all of that good shit, and he was kind of a high flyer at the time. Yeah, I love AJ Styles. He's a great guy. I love him on the up, down, downs. You know what I'm saying? He's a terrible, terrible sore loser at Madden. But other than that, AJ Styles is a great guy. I like when they set the match up. I was telling Ralph, I was like, this match has the potential to be match of the night. No matter what, this match had the potential to be match of the night, and I just feel like it didn't reach that point.
No,
because these are two guys who can really, really, really wrestle. These are two guys who are geniuses, and they have wrestling IQs that are off the chart. These guys, they know how to give moves, and they know how to sell moves very, very well. And I just feel like they got lost in the shuffle, and like it just wasn't. It wasn't what I deemed it should have been.
No, I mean, I could agree with that because I thought their place on the card should have belonged to the Miz and Shane. The thing is, like Evan said, the match was good. Like it wasn't a bad match. Like it was a good match. But I think because it was the second match on the quarter, I'm not even going to say this anymore because to me the pre-show and the main show is the same shit. Because for the people sitting in the audience and for the people sitting at home that started watching at 5:00, they're not looking at it as, oh, this is the second fight of the night. This was match number 6. And I just think because that match was so early on the card, whether it was 6 or 2, it took away the epicness of the match. Because the thing is, it was almost like the match was really good, but then there's a part of you that kind of feels like you could have seen that on SmackDown.
But see, and that right there, what both of you guys said right there is why I say it was the worst match. Because those guys, because AJ Styles and Randy Orton are not good wrestlers.
Well, AJ Styles is.
No. And they're not good. They're fucking amazing.
Oh.
AJ Styles is an amazing talent. Randy Orton, the legend killer, RKO, the 3 most deadliest letters in sports entertainment. Those 2 guys have been to the top of the mountain. Those 2 guys have been at the top of the mountain. There's no reason for them to be good.
Yeah.
Well, it does seem like Randy Orton is kind of like coasting through his moments, though.
And that's why I'm saying that you're right. You're right. It feels like they're both coasting, but for them to have been, not for both of them to have spent the time that they have spent at the top of the mountain. Randy Orton, Randy Orton has been a part of the greatest factions.
Yeah.
Legacy, Evolution, you name it. He's been at the top. Probably the youngest champion ever.
Yeah.
He's been at the top. So he knows how to carry that. They both know how to carry matches. So for their match to be good,
no, I get your point.
To be good, I'm like, nah. Sorry.
Nah, I get
good. That's not good enough.
Do either of you think the placement of the match had something to do with it, or do you think this would have happened regardless of where the match was?
I don't think placement matters. I don't think placement matters because I think that those two guys, no matter if they were the first match, last match, middle match, whatever, they have the capability to make wherever they are the greatest match.
Okay.
So I don't think placement matters. I think that they've been at the top so long. They've been at the top so long. And to be honest, right now in SmackDown, they're still two of the top best, athletes on SmackDown. So it's like, because they're not fighting for anything. And this feud did not build long enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long enough feud, man. This shit was mad fast. So it's like, if it ain't, you really don't need to fight for it. You have bragging rights in this fight. You know what I mean? It's just, hey, we're just going to go out there. We're going to give the people what they want, and that's it.
Well, the story that they were trying to build was Orton is the pedigree legacy child versus the king of the independent scene, AJ Styles. Like Orton never,
Nah, you're right. I mean, they tried that, but the problem is, I feel like that was a half-ass storyline because you realized that you didn't have AJ Styles and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I feel like all of this was planned out in advance, and then somebody looked and was like, AJ Styles ain't at WrestleMania. And it was like, oh, shit. We don't got AJ Styles or Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I will put them together.
Because, again, him coming out with the RKO on AJ Styles was, now, for him, that's different because Randy Orton randomly RKOs motherfuckers, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
But for AJ Styles to do it back, it's like, that shit is mad random. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gave us a month, you gave us maybe 6 weeks to build up.
Even maybe.
So it's like,
Well, I'll say this. You know how I knew AJ Styles was going to win? On the Go Home show for SmackDown, they had an altercation to close out the show. And AJ Styles tried to come off the top rope for the phenomenal forearm, and Orton caught him with the RKO out of the phenomenal forearm. So I said to myself, well, if Styles just went for the phenomenal forearm and got RKO'd, they're not going to do this again on Sunday because a phenomenal forearm into an RKO, that's how you would end the match. So if that's how you would end the match at WrestleMania and you just showed this to me on SmackDown, Orton's not winning this match because he just gave you his best move.
Well, to be honest, they've done that before though.
Yeah,
we've seen that before, but not with this caliber.
Yeah. I just felt like, because like I said, but because it was the show before Mania, it was just like, why do it back? It's like, why do it and then do it again 3 days later?
I have a question for the panel. Has anyone ever actually kicked out of a pin after an RKO?
Has anyone ever kicked out after getting RKO'd?
Yes.
Whose name isn't John Cena?
Obviously.
Lately, no. Like, the RKO has just been like a one hit and you're done.
Yeah, it's been like a one-hitter quitter. I mean, but didn't Styles kick out of it tonight, though? He kicked out of one.
Yeah.
Styles
he was the first person like recently the kick out of an RKO, you know, but between tonight and the Elimination Chamber, those are the only encounters to my memory that Styles fought against Orton. And both times that Orton tried to RKO him in like the tonight's Mania match, he basically did the same thing to him in the Elimination Chamber and on SmackDown. So Styles was already like aware of where Orton was going to come from, going to try to get him from, which is why he staked him out like every time he went for the attempted RKO.
I mean, coming out of it, I honestly don't see where either of them go after this. And
it's kind of like, all right, that happened, and now it's like,
like now what? I mean, they're supposed to do a draft or a superstar shakeup, so maybe they get split up. Orton goes back to Raw or something. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like this situation with them is over.
Well, speaking of shakeup, I mean, not to get off that, but do you think the New Day breaks up?
No. I don't think the New Day breaks up, but in the back of my mind, I feel like Vince McMahon is waiting for a moment to fuck everybody over. So I feel like Vince has one screw you like to the fans in the chamber, and I think it involves Woods and Big E costing Kofi the title at some point this year. That's a different topic for a different day. So the seventh match on the card was the SmackDown Tag Team match. You had the makeshift tag team of Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, the other makeshift tag team of Ricochet and Aleister Black, who just got the call up from NXT.
And the older makeshift tag team
the original makeshift tag team of Cesaro and Sheamus versus the Usos. They ended up making it a fatal 4-way match because when the New Day was doing the tag team gauntlet match, and then the Usos decided they were going to forfeit because they didn't want to fight the New Day because they were rooting for Kofi. Their punishment for doing that was defending their titles in a fatal 4-way. Because Ricochet and Aleister Black wrestled the War Raiders at NXT TakeOver, I'm like, they're not going to have them wrestle for tag team belts on Friday and Sunday. They're not going to win either of these matches, so I already counted them out. The Usos just recently signed, like, they renewed their contract because their contract was up right after Mania. The Usos recently, like, renewed their contract. So I would like to think, especially because we all remember last year when the Usos did that whole speech about how they've never been at a WrestleMania, how they always feel the show, but they never get on WrestleMania. I would like to think that when they renewed their contract, part of that decision was we want to be on the WrestleMania card and we're not losing to those other three tag teams.
I mean, they did also like make a point that the Usos been at like 3 straight Manias and they left with the belt.
Yeah, they lost the belts. I think they lost the belts every time.
No, I think they won them though.
Well, they lost. Well, last year they got destroyed by the Bludgeon Brothers. and the years before that, they were on the kickoff. So, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about this match because I was just happy that they won because they finally got a WrestleMania victory. So Aleister Black and Ricochet aren't going to stay tag team forever because they're both single competitors. The bar is the bar. The bar will always be around. And Nakamura and Rusev aren't staying together, forever anyway as well. So it's just like I feel like the only reason why they had this match was just so the Usos can finally get a title WrestleMania victory.
Makes sense.
Yeah, especially since they didn't have no immediate threats for the title, so they basically just threw they basically did to the Usos what I was hoping they was going to do for the U.S. title. If you're going to put me in a fatal 4-way match because I beat everybody else and I just beat these guys, so you have nobody else before me, the only thing that you guys could do is just have me fight them again at Mania. They should have did that for the U.S. title. They should have had R-Truth and Andrade fight fight against Rey Mysterio and Joe, just like how they did to the Usos when they had that tag team fight on SmackDown. And they was like, oh, hey, since you guys are teaming up, now you're going to fight each other at WrestleMania. And I'm like, okay, well, it's not like they build up any, like, beef with anybody, so I guess they will have to fight. I guess they will have to just fight whoever else is, like, the leftover.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there was no feud. There was no build-up. It was just like, you guys aren't feuding anybody, but because we're mad at you, we're just going to make you fight everybody. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing for me to say about it. I mean, the Usos won. I fucks with the Usos, so, I mean, I was good. I think I was good either way.
Of course you was.
Yeah. Match number 8 was the best in the world, Shane McMahon versus The Miz. And I thought it was extremely hilarious how Shane kept making the ring announcer redo his entrance over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's been like a running, like, gag, like, ever since he became a heel.
Yeah. So it's,
here comes the money.
Yeah, you know, and the funny thing is, because to be honest, I thought this was the match that I going into it, I said to myself, this is the match that's going to completely suck ass. And it was a little bit better than I thought. Like, they had the whole thing where where like Shane was going to do his infamous jump off the top rope, elbow smash into the announce table, and then the Miz's dad came over the barricade and tried to shield him, tried to protect his son from taking that elbow, and then Shane whooped his dad, beat up on his dad. But you know, the thing about this match is everybody, and it's like it's a Shane McMahon match. You're watching the match, and the whole time you're watching, just like, all right, so at what point is Shane going to climb on top of the building? You know, like, you're just waiting for him to, like, jump off the roof, jump off a ladder. Like, you're just waiting for him to do something stupid. You know, and he found the tallest structure that he could find. Him and Miz went on top of the structure because the match was Falls Count Anywhere. The Miz got the better of him. The Miz suplexed Shane McMahon off of that high-rise structure, and both of them went crashing into the floor or whatever boxes they had, you know, at the thing to break their fall. But Corey Graves actually said something interesting, and I didn't realize it until the referee, like, rung the bell, because the Miz suplexed Shane McMahon. But, like Corey Graves said, when you do a suplex to somebody, you take their arm, and you put their arm under your neck. So when the Miz suplexed Shane was on top of the Miz, and the referee counted the 3 on the Miz, and that's how Shane won the match. So the Miz kind of like fucked himself over. But I mean, do y'all think that was creative? Do you still think the match sucked? You know, was it, you know?
Well, just like you said, I definitely didn't like. My similar thoughts when this match was announced was, okay, it's Falls Count Anywhere, but they're in a WrestleMania big ass arena. Like they're not gonna take this like to the high rafters. They're probably gonna pick like one corner spot and then like fight there for like 8 minutes and then just come back to the ring. But to my surprise, they actually walked around for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, like they even messed with the other announced teams and shit and broke their tape.
Yeah, I felt bad for the German guys. I mean, but I don't know, but just like with the last match, there's really nothing to say about this because it's like now the situation is over. Like, first of all, like the Miz should have never been the face going into the whole situation anyway, and then the Miz tried to get, like, the face sympathy from the crowd. He tried to turn into the good guy. He tried to, like, fight for his family, his dad, and he still lost. So, you did all that. It's like you did all that for nothing. You lost because you tried to, out crash test dummy Shane McMahon, and Shane's not an active competitor, so he ain't giving you a rematch. So this whole thing is, like, the Miz basically did all.
Yeah, and here's another point during the pre-show here's another point during the pre-show like panel. I forgot the dude's name, but he's like a radio host and shit. Like, he had made mention of, I don't like, he said something along the lines of, "I don't like the way that this match has been, building up." I mean, like in the case of the Miz, it's just like I don't agree with Miz being in this position where that he's trying to be seen as like the heroic hero. It's just like if you're gonna have beef with someone, I mean, who like if you are gonna have beef with someone that challenged you on Mania, the whole build up to this has been you talking about your family and your father and stuff. How about you just worry about the guy that's been talking shit the whole time, but instead it's like that you've been trying to build us up on the fact that you're like a family man now and shit.
Yeah, and it's like nobody wants that from the Miz. Like nobody wants the Miz to be like the nice guy family man. Like we want him to be a douchebag.
You know what I mean? Like Kevin Owens could have probably pulled that off, but
said Miz and Maurice just came back on, so you got to play that.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, but it was just very. I mean, like I said, the match was better than I thought it was, but there's no interest in it for me because I know it's not going anywhere after today. But I will give them credit because the finish of the match I thought was really creative.
Yeah.
So what came after that? Oh, after that was the women's tag team champ. This is match number 9 now. The women's tag team match. Sasha Bailey versus Tamina and Nia Jax versus Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus the Iconics. And I mean, I'm just going to say it. I don't think anyone on the planet, including the Iconics, thought the Iconics were going to leave WrestleMania with the women's tag team championships.
That is true.
Like it was almost.
I also figured that they was going to. I also figure in the spirit of keeping it all for the ladies that they was going to hold this match off. In typical fashion, let's have a women's fight. Be the second to last fight of the night.
Yeah. They were.
I mean, so.
Here's my only question, because the Iconics are an actual tag team.
Yes.
Nia Jax and Tamina, they're related. They're not. It's like they are a tag team, but they're not a tag team. They're like 50-50 with it. Beth and Natty, like we all know, Beth ain't coming back tomorrow. Like Beth, like this was Beth Phoenix's last match, pretty much. So, and like, do you think that they, Sasha and Bailey won the titles at Elimination Chamber in February? Do either of you think they're looking at it as, well, let's be real, Sasha and Bailey as a tag team isn't the long-term plan? So is it like, hey, let's just get the belts off them so they can both go back to being singles competitors, therefore we have to put the belts on an actual team? Or do you think they're actually going to try to build a Sasha Bailey Iconics feud for a couple of months?
I hope not.
I mean,
I'm done. I have been done. I have been done with Bailey for I don't know how long. No, you got a hugger, man. Like no bullshit, man. Bailey has been like the bane of the women's division. Bailey sets back the women's revolution 100 years. Because it's like, what?
Nah, not really.
Trash.
Ev, Ev, let me tell you something. Jay's very I'm gonna paint the picture for everything he just. Jay's very first takeover he ever saw was when Bailey defended the championship against Asuka.
And Asuka kicked the brakes off of her.
You didn't wait. So you never watched Bailey versus Sasha, the most talked about? The women's fights in all of the NXT.
Nah, he didn't see Sasha Bailey. He saw Bailey.
You know the respect on that.
Why would I?
If you want to put some respect on Bailey's name, you gotta watch Bailey versus Sasha.
but I don't want to put respect on her name. That's number one. that is number one. Number two, since she's been called up to the WWE, she's done nothing but get clowned.
But that's WWE's fault. I mean, just like with the Revival, is that people know that they're a good tag team. It's just they don't really put them in, like, it's just the company doesn't put them in scenarios where people where the new people are supposed to take them.
Yeah, I'm really not even listening to your whole explanation, bro. Because you're not even. Are you ignoring the fact that this bitch comes out with car salesman blow up?
Wacky is the way it was.
This bitch came out. Yo, she used to come out. She was coming out looking like the Ultimate Warrior / Hulk Hogan / Bret Hart / I'm trash. That is garbage.
Well, you were the one that trademarked the name Bum Ass Bailey.
Bum ass Bailey. Nobody got time for Bailey, man. Like, don't get me twisted. Yo, man, and listen. I don't objectify women. Okay, no, I'm lying. I do objectify women. But Bailey's not even cute, man. Like, she's trash.
You know, I mean, maybe not to the degree that you are, but I do have. But honestly, like, for the most part, I agree with you, because part of the reason why I was completely against Sasha becoming a tag team, it wasn't because I don't want Sasha to be in a tag team because it'll take Sasha out of the heavyweight title picture. I didn't want her to team with Bayley because I was like, I actually like Sasha Banks, and I hate the fact that rooting for Sasha Banks means I gotta fucking root for Bayley. I don't like Bayley.
Bayley is that. I get it. You know, she had the pictures when she was younger and how she really, really wanted to be a WWE superstar and whatever. But that's all of them. Every single wrestler. Every single WWE superstar has the same story. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was young and I saw this. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was young and from this point on I wanted to do this. Mm-hmm. We all have the same story. Bayley's is no different. Mm-hmm. She's trash. It's okay to call her trash because it's like, just because she's a female doesn't automatically make her great. Or doesn't automatically make her, you know, like, oh my God, she's a part of the women's revolution. Let's just support her. No. Yeah. Because we have men wrestlers that we think are trash.
Yeah. Bayley
Hell, the Brooklyn Brawler actually looked like trash. So, like, if we can sit back here and say, hey, this guy's a bum. This guy's a loser. This guy doesn't have what it takes to be a WWE superstar. Not even that. This guy loses all of his matches. This guy's a bum. If we can sit back here and do that for the guys,
we gotta do it for the women.
We gotta do it for the women too. Bayley is trash.
All right, so I got your answer. So quickly, just to end this segment, my question to you, Ev, is: do the Iconics rock with the gold for a while, and Sasha and Bayley go back to being singles, or do you think those two teams? Do you think the two teams will feud for a little bit?
Well, considering we're not supposed to be seeing any title rematches,
point.
I guess and since Sasha and according to the Iconics, since Sasha and Bayley were too scared to come to SmackDown, too afraid to come to SmackDown on a weekly basis, I guess you kind of have to think like, well, you know,
You gotta put them in singles matches. How many times can we rotate the belt between Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Ronda Rousey, and Asuka? Like, come on.
Yeah. So, but the weird part of it is, if they do this, let's say like if Sasha and Bayley get split up because of the superstar shakeup, there aren't so the Iconics are the women's tag champions, which is perfectly fine because they're an actual tag team. All the other female tag teams are heels. They actually don't have any face tag teams.
Yeah, so they probably will keep them together then.
Well, necessarily, you know what? We don't necessarily have to go through, heel, face. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to
I don't want
to have a match. You don't have to have a heel face.
No, but I don't want to see the Iconics versus Nia Jax and Tamina. Like, I don't really care to see them versus the Riot Squad. You know?
I mean, listen, they're there, so listen, utilize the tag teams that you have. Or it's not, if you're not going to do that, then you have to put the blame on the WWE for pulling the trigger on a women's tag team, not having a women's tag team division.
Yeah, pretty much. Because what I think is going to happen is if Sasha and Bayley do get split up, I think they're going to make Naomi and Carmella be a tag team and have them fight the Iconics on SmackDown for a while.
I mean, they are the only ones. I mean, in the Battle Royal, we saw Ember Moon came back. So now we gotta wait. So now we gotta wait and see who are they gonna throw her against. Even if you were to think about the women of NXT, like they kind of got like a couple of heel tag teams in the women's division anyway. Like I would like to see the Iconics. I would like to see the Iconics like also go to NXT and be like, hey guys, we came back home and look at us now. Just so the Sky Pirates could just come through and be like, oh, go.
Well, that's the only thing.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's the only thing they can do, because if first of all the Iconics are a heel tag team. They're not gonna go. They're not gonna try to prove themselves to be fighting champions. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
they're gonna stay on SmackDown.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, number one, it really doesn't matter. For the one reason is there's not enough time. Yeah. Like, we have to look at it from a business standpoint. Mm-hmm. There's not enough time to sit back here and have, all of these segments and then have a women's division of tag team matches, singles matches, championship matches, and then, okay, now we're going to do the men's or whatever, let's mix it in. There's not enough time. Yeah. So, you know what? Let's just put some tag teams together with the women that we have. I think that they're going to rotate women in mixed tag. I think they're going to say, all right, Sasha and Bayley, you did your thing for a little while. Go over here. You do your thing, you do your thing. Now we're going to take two more, big names to bring more recognition to the title. Because at the end of the day, the end of the day, they put them together because Bayley's a boss. Like, they put Sasha Banks and Bayley together because Bayley's a bum. So it's like, all right, we know Bayley is trash.
Okay. First of all, we don't know that. We don't agree to this.
I actually agree to that. Go ahead.
Bayley was trash, and so the only way that we can get Bayley to get all the applause that we really want her to get is we need to put her with someone that the fans love. And then after the superstar shakeup, it was only Sasha left that was worth it. So now Sasha is, just coming off of her little hiatus. She had her championship run. Sasha got hurt. She's coming back. All right, let's pair her up with Bayley for a little while. Let's do this. Because let me tell you something right now. The moment they break up, I guarantee you Bayley is going to be like sitting next to Lana in the back room.
She's going to have that catering seat.
Words, man.
It's gonna be her, Lana, Zelina Vega, and Shelton Benjamin.
Word, somebody check for Bayley.
Wow.
I kind of agree, but
all right.
I think they're gonna throw Carmella and Naomi together to fight them.
But you know what? That would be cool too. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say I think that they're going to start. They're going to start mixing them up. They're going to start making their own tag team because, number one, of time. I feel like time is the one thing that Vince can't control. Yeah. Especially being on TV. You can't control that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, I want to showcase my female wrestlers. The best way to showcase them is to put two of them. Is to put, instead of one-on-one, let me put four of them in the ring at the same time. Now I'm giving four women the opportunity to fight. Yeah. Rather than just always being a 2-on-2 here, 2-on-2 there. Yeah. Well, I'm throwing four in. So now if I throw four in one match, now I got time to do a one-on-one. Now I just showcased 6 of my female wrestling talent.
Yeah, no, I agree. But for me, shout out to the Iconics because, I should have in my heart I voted for them to win, and they actually I don't know how they pulled that shit off, but they pulled that.
Shout out to the Iconics because they look good. They keep shit.
So
the girls sexy as hell, man. Like I said, I'm into objectifying. So it's cool. I mean, I will be the objectifier. They look good as shit. So
they wouldn't argue with you. I mean, the two of them hold hands when they come to the ring together. You know what I'm saying?
They hug more than Bayley does.
Yeah, like they hug each other. Like when they were in the ring waiting for Natty and Beth to come in, like Peyton Royce had her arms around Billie Kay's shoulders, and they were hugging each other. So.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, So
I'm okay with that. Show the love, man. It's all about positivity. Yep. You know what I mean?
So you're saying wait, hold on. You can't talk about no positivity, and you can't talk about positivity without trying to bring up Bayley. Bayley is all about positivity. Damn it.
Well, he is positive. He's positive.
You can be about positivity, but you're showing negativity because you're a bum.
All right, I'm all ready to switch topics now before he bashes Bayley.
Speaking of positive,
you're a Bayley fan. I get it. You're a Bayley fan. I get it.
I'm not a huge Bayley fan, but I do put some respect on the horsewoman. You know what I mean?
No, you got a cape on for Bayley, but it's okay because you're a Bayley fan who's a bum. You're a Knicks fan who's bums.
Wow.
I get it. I get it.
Can we stick to the wrestling, man?
You're a fan of the bums. I get it. You're a bum fan.
Wow. Can we stick to the wrestling, please?
Speaking of positivity, the 10th, and in my opinion, the true main event of the night. Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston.
There's nothing to be said.
No, there isn't. There's not even. There's no point to even talk to.
Captain Planet should have won that fight.
Nothing.
Shit. What you mean Captain Planet should have won that fight?
Captain Planet should won that fight.
Again, he's a fan of the bums. I'm okay with that. That's okay. Evan, you're a fan of bums. It is what it is. There's nothing to be said.
So real quick, just thoughts on the first black WWE champion in history.
I mean,
I'll let Evan start this one.
I mean, if we're going to ignore the fact that The Rock is like half black, then you know, sure.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I'm not going to explain. I refuse to explain.
Bro.
I mean,
bro.
I'm not going to explain. Like
The Rock gets Matt Riddle.
The Rock doesn't even count himself. So.
Bro, what's wrong with your man over there, man?
All I'm gonna say is The Rock himself. The Rock himself portrays himself as Samoan. So with that being said, Kofi Kingston is the first black non-Samoan heritage bloodline, non-mixed wrestling competitor.
He's your man. Yo.
He is the He is the first 100% black from Ghana, West Africa.
Yo, mute his mic, yo.
I mean, no one talks about the hard facts, man. I just want to bring, shit to the light.
So, what went through your mind the moment the referee's hand slapped the three?
I'm not gonna lie. I thought the match was gonna be longer. Mm-hmm. I thought that Daniel Bryan was gonna kick out, and you and I both know. We thought Kofi was gonna win, but I thought it was gonna be a little bit. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more. I like the fact that I do like the fact that they just got right to it.
Yeah.
All right, yo, we fought, we got to it. That's it. SOS, Trouble in Paradise, that's your last. Cool. I'm happy with that. You know what I'm saying? But I did think he was going to kick out. But, yeah. I mean, this is one of those things, it's like, you can't, you are going to remember where you were at and what you were doing when this happened.
True.
Like, this is one of those situations where it's like, this was the one arena where when everybody was like, hey, you can grow up and be anything you want to be,
mm-hmm.
They were saying that about everything else except two things. The president and being, the WWE Universal Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, wow. Like, okay, for Kofi to put in the work that he's put in,
yeah.
For as long as he's been putting his work in, you can't even say this. You just have to watch. You have to watch this.
Yeah.
Like there is you can't cheer too long. You can't celebrate too long because you're gonna miss something. You really just have to sit and watch this run.
Yeah.
Because this run, we don't know how long this run is gonna be.
Exactly.
Because if this becomes one of those 300 and something day runs,
mm-hmm.
If this becomes one of those CM Punk runs, one of those Bruno Sammartino runs, one of those Brock Lesnar type runs,
mm-hmm.
This is really going to be iconic.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, when
I don't know, man.
I already told you when the referee counted to three, I actually my left eye started watering up because I couldn't believe that shit happened. And I'm appreciative of the fans in the arena because if it wasn't for the fans on that first SmackDown when he did that first gauntlet match, the fact that the public genuinely finally got behind him and actually wanted to see him succeed is part, if not the biggest reason why it happened. And I always get upset because I'm just like, oh, the fans are going to bat for Zack Ryder because they think Zack Ryder's being mistreated. Oh, the fans are going to bat for Dolph Ziggler or Daniel Bryan because they feel like they're being mistreated. And I'm like, how come nobody's going to bat for like Kofi Kingston or Shelton Benjamin or blah blah blah? And they finally did it. And
I'm glad they did it, but the reasons why they did it was shitty. Because basically the only reason they did this is because the other guy got hurt.
Well, the company put him in the position because Mustafa Ali got hurt, but the fans genuinely wanted Kofi to win that gauntlet match.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is because Mustafa got hurt,
yeah,
he was able to even get into the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, but
so it's kind of like it's kind of like. I mean, it's a gift for the curse. It's a blessing in disguise. However you want to see it.
Well, yeah. But let's be honest. Like you said, when Mustafa Ali got hurt, I'm pretty sure Vince was like, "Well, Ali's hurt. We just need somebody to take his spot. Fuck it, Kofi, just take his spot. We'll have you last till like the end, and then you'll lose, and blah blah blah." Vince did not think, when Vince told him, like, hey, we just need you to show up tonight and take someone's place, he did not expect that entire building to start chanting Kofi's name.
That's his fault for underestimating. Yeah. Vince knows that Kofi Kingston is a showman of the highest level. You've seen Kofi do things in the Rumble. You've seen Kofi Kingston do things in ladder matches. You've seen him do things at Money in the Bank. Kofi is a showman. So it's like, let's bring some flair to the situation.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that way
you'll get stronger now?
And he just didn't, I think Vince didn't realize, like, how impactful Kofi Kingston is to certain main events. And now, in this one, he's just, in the Elimination Chamber, they're like, oh, shit. Yeah. Like, the fans were, the problem is, the fans were always behind Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, they was behind the New Day, though.
No one just listened.
Yeah. That is true because when Kofi was feuding with Orton, the fans were behind him.
Exactly.
The Kofi chants never went away, but like you said, like Vince just didn't want to.
When Kofi went up against when Kofi was fighting Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
The fans were behind him then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the fans have always been there for Kofi Kingston. He's always had his core fans.
Yeah.
But now, it's kind of like because he jumped into the New Day, not jumped into the New Day, but, because everybody laughed, me included, laughed at what the hell the New Day was. And the New Day started with the preaching and all of that, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, this is going to be some jives, some sucking and jiving for years to come. And let's be honest, man, like the New Day took that, they took it to the next level.
Yeah.
Xavier Woods did his thing. Biggie was doing his thing. They kept fighting,
They put on good matches.
Man. Like, it's all about, it's undeniable evolution. Yeah. We are here.
Mm-hmm.
We're here, man.
Yeah. And like you said, I was gonna say, like you said, it's bittersweet in a sense because there's a part of you that wants to say, "Thank you, Vince, for giving Kofi the chance," but then there's another part of you that wants to say, "What the fuck took you so long?" Because he's been here for 11 years, Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, Vince could have pulled a Booker T on him tonight, and we'd all burnt down the MetLife Stadium. So I'm thankful he didn't.
I mean, At this day and age, if you can give the world title to Ginger the Mahal, then then the sky's the limit for pretty much the rest of the roster.
Well, that's what was making me so angry about the Kofi thing. I'm like, yo, you putting the belt on people, that's fucking it up.
First of all, let's be honest. They were gonna put the belt on Shinsuke before Black Man.
Yeah. And I don't know how Shinsuke fucked that up, but
listen. They dropped the ball on that.
Like AJ Moore.
I do wish that Shinsuke would have got a nice little title run. But not over Kofi. But I wish he would have had his own little title run. But the fact that you gave it to a Middle Eastern, the fact that you were contemplating giving it to an Asian, and you was just flat out saying no when it came to a black man.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So the question now is, we got one. Let's see who number 2 is.
You Negroes ain't happy with nothing.
and I think what has to be said from a record standpoint, I think Kofi Kingston is the 51st WWE champion. Because I remember when,
as far as new people, right?
Yeah, as far as new people, because when Jinder Mahal won it, he was Mahal.
He was 50.
Yeah, Jinder Mahal was 50, and ever since Jinder, like everybody that had it after Jinder had already held it before, so they were like in the 40s on the list. So I think Kofi's the 51st WWE champion. So we'll see. Let's see how many we can get in the next 50. But for me, like I just hope, because I've been following him since he first debuted in WCW when he was doing his vignettes on the beach, rescuing people on the beach, talking about trouble in paradise. I just hope that tonight when he goes back to his hotel and his wife falls asleep and his kids fall asleep, I just hope he has a moment for at least a minute where he sits at the end of his bed and just stares at that title for as long as he can. We'll see how long it takes before they fuck him over. But
you know what? For Kofi, I mean, to be honest, you really can't fuck him over at this point.
Yeah, because he already got it.
Because he's the champion, and the WWE is built on controversy. So let them screw him over however they're gonna do it. Whatever it is, what it is.
No, if they're really going to give him the Daniel Bryan route, then he's going to turn heel, because he already got a squad behind him. They're going to keep that belt on Kofi.
You know what?
They're going to heal him up.
I don't think the New Day would go for that.
True.
But wait, hold on. But that might be an interesting story route to take, because now that Kofi has the belt, because I can remember random talks that they would have, that they would do for the New Day, right after these shows that would end. There was a couple of times that Woods would just flat out say, when we get our time to go for the belt, we are going to give that chance to Kofi, because it's Kofi time. And Woods been saying that for a couple of years now to make form the New Day. So now that Kofi Kingston has the belt,
him turning on him.
Yeah, I feel like it would be an interesting story to tell, and I wouldn't be totally against it if the obsession of trying to give Kofi the title, and now that he has the title, both Woods and E will do anything that they can to make sure he keeps that title, and that will cause them to do some heel shit. Well, Kofi will kind of be like, I kind of still want to do this on my own, guys, and shit. I don't need the heel route. Help me to keep the belt.
Well, that too, but I feel like, the New Day going heel is gonna. I feel, and this is how society views us. Once black men turn heel, they look at us like they're gonna look at the nation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember the nation? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, these Negroes are mad now. Like, what are we gonna do? Blah 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 blah. So it's kind of like, you know what? Let's change the narrative. Like, and I feel like Xavier Woods, you know, being that he has a PhD and he's a very smart man.
Yep.
I feel like they have the wherewithal to say, no, we're not going to go heel because you think that that's what people want to see. You're not going to betray us. Now that we're at the top and nobody thinks that we're going to make it, now you're going to have us act like some Negroes?
Well, I mean,
no.
No, I mean, I agree. And now, you know, because we've reached the top of the mountain, they've now earned the right to where they can say something. So
now it's like, let's preach what we've been preaching from the beginning. We've been preaching positivity from the beginning. We've been preaching the feel good vibes from the beginning.
Yeah, but they also, yeah, well, it damn sure is a new day, but you know, but they have the stroke now to where when the writers or Vince or whoever come to them with storylines and stuff, they've earned the right to now where they can actually say something and have input. It's not just going to be, hey, this is what you're doing today and shut up. Like, they've actually earned the right now where they can be like, hey, we don't like this, let's change it. You know?
And that's why I say that they're not going to go heel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that they're going to go heel. Like, now don't get me twisted. I'm not going to say that they're going to not, you know, maybe cheat a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, pull Kofi out the ring. But I don't think that they're gonna go to the extent where it's like, oh my God, you know, Kofi Kingston was down for the count and Biggie jumped in the ring and kicked the ref in the nuts type shit. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Oh, yeah, like Seth Rollins, like blowing cats behind the referee's back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be controversial, but I don't think they're gonna go straight heel. Like, you know, fuck the fans. No, man, you know what I mean? And I don't think anybody wants to. I don't think the fans are gonna stand behind a heel turn from the New Day.
No, I agree. I think his first title defense is going to be against Kevin Owens because I think the Kevin Owens nice guy routine is now officially over. Yeah.
You still got the show.
You know what I want to see, honestly?
What?
I want to see his first title defense go against Randy Orton.
I was just thinking the same thing too. Stupid.
I heard about the tweet. As long as he wins, I'm down for it. Because, like I said, your first time.
You want to talk full circle?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, if you really want to talk full circle, you want to talk redemption. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I got
Randy Orton.
And one thing somebody like Vince McMahon will never understand. He will never understand because if what you say is true, and if they do end up doing Orton versus Kofi, Vince will never understand that Kofi's one championship reign is more important than all 14 of Randy Orton's.
Never. He would never understand it.
No. So
never. I don't think. You know what? To be honest, bro, I don't think a lot of people understand that.
That's true.
Not Vince. I don't think the white people in that locker room even understand that. Like, yeah, a lot of people are like, you know, congratulations to Kofi. You know, you've worked hard. They're looking at it as a, hey, Kofi got rewarded for his hard work.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking at it as
we finally got it. We finally got one.
Yeah. We're looking at it from a whole bigger standpoint.
Yeah.
We're looking at it from, It's not about Kofi. The black man has the title now.
Yeah, we got the gold sucker.
Yeah, so it's not about I think probably Kofi, Xavier Woods, JE, a lot of people who understand, they feel the same way. They're like, nah. Kofi winning the title is like Titus O'Neil winning the title.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Apollo Crews, like that title means so. The fact that a black man owns that title right now.
Yep.
Every black man in the locker room feels like a champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different, like, if John Cena wins, people are like, oh, look at John Cena. Or if The Undertaker or Randy Orton or AJ Styles, they're like, oh, we're happy for him, but, we're coming for him. When a black man holds that title, the other black people are like, yeah, we made it.
Yeah. He just kicked in the door for everybody.
Yeah. So, like you said, Vince McMahon, no, he don't get it. He has no idea. Vince McMahon has no idea.
Because I guarantee you, if he puts him in a program with Randy Orton, he's gonna have Randy Orton say something like, "Oh, you've just now become champion. I've been champion X amount of time." I'm like, bro, like one is worth more than everything you had.
Exactly.
Like you just
got your legacy, man.
Yep. But we'll see. I mean, to be honest, like forget about thinking that far ahead. I'm just gonna enjoy that shit while he still got it. Well, after that, match number 11, and there's really nothing to say about this. It was Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio came.
Wait, there were matches after that?
Oh shit. Yes, there were, and the Kofi match ended around 10:30. It was like
I'm sorry, my brain was still at the Kofi Kingston after party.
Well,
with the other black people.
I mean, I think Vince knew that too because Samoa, like, as soon as the bell rung, like Rey Mysterio basically came to Wrestlemania to show off his new outfit.
Rey Mysterio's entrance was longer than his fight.
It was, and he tapped out in like 10 seconds. So, well, but you know what? Fuck it. Shout out to the boy Samoa Joe because he was supposed to wrestle last year. He got hurt and he couldn't do it. He went into WrestleMania with the gold. He walked out. He went into his first WrestleMania as champion. He walked out as champion. So, like I said,
and this match was kind of like out the blue, and it had zero build like the whole time anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It was. That match was one of those. That match it was a filler match. Hey, let's throw these guys out here. Half the crowd is still reeling from Kofi Kingston. 90% of the locker room is still reeling from Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, right.
In the back, probably doing like a dozen interviews. No one's really paying attention. Let's throw these guys out there.
Yeah. So, like I said, shout out to the boy Joe. Any thoughts on Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre?
I give it a couple of notches lower than AJ fought Orton.
I mean, I did think the match
it was another okay good fight, but you could tell that since Roman's first fight coming back in months, like he wasn't going hard. Like,
yeah.
We knew Roman Reigns was gonna
Drew Mac could have murdered him easy and just like everybody else, but because we're on some Roman Reigns comeback tour and shit, it's just
yeah, you sound like Jay right now.
Well, you gotta understand, first of all, he's using the cancer run. I'm a cancer.
Yeah, he has to.
Trust me, I understand. I respect it 100%. But for this, when you use the cancer run, no one's gonna beat you.
Yeah. I saw him
like that. Even though yes, it's commendable, and yes, he definitely. Me being politically correct right now, yes, he should be proud of the fact that he beat cancer again. Like cancer could have taken him out before, it didn't. It could have taken him out again, it didn't. He came back, he won. He's wearing his cancer. He's wearing his cancer proudly. My cancer victory, it's mine. I won it. But like when you use that in the WWE, knowing that we have, cancer months and things of that nature, you're not gonna lose.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like there's really nothing to say. I mean, like I said, I agree with Evan. Like I thought the match was going to be better than it was. I mean, the match didn't suck, but I thought it would be better. But we all know he was going to win, so it was just like, we'll see what.
That's the thing. Like that's the thing. We knew he was going to win. That's what made the match so underwhelming because it's like, well, bruh, not only did you come out off the cancer run, you had the cancer ribbon on the Titantron.
It's like putting a special needs child on stage at the Apollo. It's like no one's gonna
do you.
Yeah. So like I said, shout out to Roman Reigns, but
I'm not giving Roman Reigns a shout out. You can shout him out.
I mean, it's just nothing to get excited for.
Man, Jay just hates them like Jay is just hating on the older faces.
Listen, there's a few people who I don't like, and when I don't like them, I don't pretend to like them. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care what you fought, what you battled, what you win, what you lost. If I don't like you, I don't like you.
And to his credit, he hated Roman Reigns before hating Roman Reigns was cool.
I hated Roman Reigns from jump. Like when they came out of when it was the Shield and they first showed up, I was like, hey, I like that guy. Seth Rollins, he has a 2-color hair. I'm like, I don't really care about the Dean Ambrose dude. I don't like Roman Reigns.
Yep.
And then when they said, oh, that's The Rock's cousin, I was like, oh, I really don't like him because they're gonna push him for a title run. And what they do, I called his whole career.
That's something I'll give you that because they said you didn't like him before it was cool to not like him. So any thoughts on the John Cena Elias interaction?
Hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't expect the heel Cena to finally come through at Hall. I did hear the rumors that either him or the Undertaker was going to make an appearance and do something, but the fact that it wasn't even a match, nothing he just came out to Hulk Hogan and just talked some shit. I was like, okay, I could be fine with this.
My only thoughts on that whole situation is this: Vince, you've been trying to get John Cena cheered for years. It hasn't worked. Everybody booed him. He went back to his old gimmick and they chanted his name. Just saying.
I mean, but we are in New York and that's a different crowd. It's not to say that it's going to work in every city now.
But everybody liked Thugonomics Cena over Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect Army John Cena. Nobody liked Marine John Cena. Everybody liked Thugonomics John Cena. Which, if anything, tonight validates he should have turned heel a long time ago and went back to his old character at some point. But
he made too many wishes, so.
Yeah. So next, now we're up to Unlucky 13, which was, in my opinion, the worst match on the entire card. Triple H versus Batista. Aside from
I don't know, man, but Batista took a hell of a beating and shit for a movie star that's like himself.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of it was kind of interesting because Triple H was ODing, but aside from this being Batista's very last match, according to him, and getting to see him do the machine gun entrance one more time,
yeah,
I don't care about Triple H going over in matches against other old wrestlers. So, because at the end of it, what did this match accomplish? neither guy's gonna show up tomorrow.
No, it just guarantees that since Triple H's career is not on the line, if he is more likely going to show up for the next two Manias and special overseas events, then we're going to see him again.
Yeah. But Jay, since he was always your guy, any thoughts on the Batista retirement?
It's sad. Well, you know, I met Batista twice in my life, you know, on two separate occasions. You know, when I used to work at, I met him once in DC. I met him once in Long Island. I sold him a suit. When I met him the second time, it was probably, you know, maybe about a 3 to 4 year gap. And he remembered me. Great guy, cool guy, awesome guy. Always been a big fan of his from day one. I would have liked to see him go out on a high note. I don't like the fact that he came back, you know, beating up on Ric Flair and things like that. You know, I don't like the antics behind it. But at the end of the day, the match itself was underwhelming. You know, I feel like, and I know Batista is in better shape than what it looked like because, you know, I've seen him fight in MMA just last year, so it's like, or maybe a year prior. But I just recently seen him fight in the MMA, so I know he's in better shape than what it looked like. He had the Wrestlemania jitters. I saw it.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah. Well,
he tripped.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know,
and then he did like a do-over. Now, real quick, I was just like, you would have to do that, man.
Well, you know, he did the do-over. He did the do-over, and he looked over and laughed because he was like, "Yeah, I have to do it again." You know, because you know that's what it was. But the fans still, you know, for the most part, they still respected it. They still loved him. You know what I mean? So this is, he did it. It was one of those moments where it's like, yo, come back with your shield or on it. You know, and he died in the ring. He basically left it all out in the ring. I lost. It's over. I don't necessarily think it's going to be his last match.
Okay.
I do think he may come back, you know.
Like right?
I think he might come back maybe like another year, maybe 2 years from now. I think he's going to make this run to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. So if he can technically declare this as his last match, within the next few years, he will probably be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And if you know he's going to want to. I mean, Triple H has two. You know, he's good friends with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels has, what, two? Ric Flair has two. You know what I mean?
Booker T has two.
You know, Booker T has two. At some point, they're going to induct Evolution into the Hall of Fame. And you know, he wants to start making that run. So it's either A, he's going to get his Hall of Fame first, Evolution's going to get it first. And I feel like Evolution's next because I feel like Triple H is going to induct. Triple H is going to do his best to get all his Hall of Fame rings.
Yeah, like because four people have two rings. Triple H is going to go out of his way to be the only person with three.
Yeah,
they can't really do that. They can't really do that now because, or it's still wrestling. You can't just induct someone that's still kind of like.
You can if it's a group.
You can because the group is over.
Yeah, the group is dead.
It's the retirement of the group. Yep. It's not the retirement of the individuals. It's the group. So Randy Orton can be an active Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer as a group. It is a cheap loophole. I understand that, but you know, that's how the game.
And technically, he will be the first heavyweight champion. I mean, the youngest heavyweight champion and quite possibly the youngest Hall of Famer.
True.
Basically.
True. Yeah, no, we shall see. Speaking of retirements, how underwhelming was Kurt Angle's?
I mean, people was expecting for someone to push aside Baron, I mean, and then just have someone else fight Kurt, but when they ran that bell and shit, I was like, oh, I guess we're getting Baron then.
I mean, I'm going to steal your opinion from the last conversation, Jay. The way the whole Kurt situation ended, for some reason, I don't feel like that today was his last match.
I agree.
It did not feel like, I don't care that he grabbed the microphone and addressed the crowd. Like, this may be his last WrestleMania. I do not think this is his last match.
I do feel like Kurt Angle is also making a Hall of Fame run.
Well, he's already in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he got in the Hall of
Fame.
Yeah, he got in the Hall of Fame like 2 years ago when he came back. When he came back as a GM. But I just don't feel like it's over. It just doesn't feel like it's over.
It feels like it should be though, because the way that he's moving around is like he's doing the same 5 movements like everybody else. It's just like it's like you can't put on the show, to any degree, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I mean, Kurt looks like complete shit when he's out in the ring, but like I said, I can't explain it, but there's just something about the whole. I watched the whole match. I watched the ending, and I watched him up until they faded to commercial. There's just something about it. There's just something about that situation where I don't feel like that was his last match.
Oh, like they're gonna squeeze like one more for like Raw and shit, and then the Undertaker is gonna bury his career.
I mean something. I mean, like I said, that's why I agree with you with the last one. Even with Batista, there was like. Even that was weird. Like I don't feel like Batista was over too, because if they were talking about his retirement this whole time and they were talking about him giving his send off, usually because you notice how like when Kurt retired, like think of every single wrestler who had their last match at Mania, the person had a chance to be embraced by the crowd. Undertaker got an embracement moment from the crowd twice, and he didn't retire, and that was because they thought he was retiring and he actually didn't. They didn't even give Batista a chance to get his, final curtain call from the audience.
Well, yeah, because Batista, he never announced this to be his last fight. Like, he wanted to leave on his terms, and his terms was to take out the Triple H.
But, you just brought up a good point, because he did say that. He said, I want to retire, I want to have my last match, and I want to have my last match on my own terms. And you're right, he literally said, and going out on my terms is beating you once and for all. Because he didn't beat him, technically he didn't go out on his own terms, so why would he retire?
Point.
But
again, like we had the conversation in the, prior to the cast.
Yeah.
I'll tell, I do it for everybody in Evan. I didn't realize how much I actually liked Kurt Angle until it was over. Because it was one of those situations where it was like I was telling Mel, like I never really had anything against him. Like I never rooted for him.
Yeah.
And if I rooted against him, it was because he was fighting somebody who I was, a fan of. But it was like, today it was like, wow. Yo, I actually like that guy. He's never done anything, at least that comes to my mind in recent history, that would literally make me look at him and go, oh, I'm glad you're gone. Or anything like that, even when he turned heel or anything that he's done. Like, I feel like his stamp is always there. Like, his stamp is on Brock Lesnar. His stamp is on John Cena. Like, his stamp is on Shelton Benjamin. His stamp is on, Gable and what's the other guy name?
Jordan?
Yeah, man, Jordan Gable. His stamp is there. And that is a prominent stamp. Like, that those guys are basically from the Kurt Angle tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, man, Kurt Angle, wow.
It's
the match itself was, All right, I'm just gonna say it. The match was trash, but at the end of the day, like everything else was like, I was like, wow. Yeah, he went out, kissed his kids, kissed his lady, and was like, yo, I see y'all niggas tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out. Like, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. And that's kind of how I viewed the whole thing.
Yeah, I think
the match was trash. The match was trash, and it's all Baron Corbin's fault. That's what the company makes us. That's the company is trying to make us to believe that ever since the fall of the GM runs, it's all been the Baron Corbin's fault.
Yeah, but I just don't think he'll end his career losing to Baron Corbin. I mean, if it could happen, I just personally don't see it. Like, he might have one more. I think what's going to happen tomorrow, he'll come out tomorrow, he'll address the fans one more time, and then someone's going to come out and challenge him. And then that'll be his legit.
And his name is John Cena.
Oh God. So so after that, my man, Bobby, the dominance, the almighty Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush came to collect on Finn Balor's ass. And the moment they said Balor was gonna wear the face paint, I was like, well, it was a good run. It was a good IC run for Bobby while it lasted. You know,
because we know that because we know only on rare occasions does the demon lose. Yeah,
you know, the demon only lost one time, and that was to Samoa Joe in NXT, and that was a cage match that he lost. But
didn't he just lose?
No, not when he wears the face paint. No.
Didn't he just lose to Brock Lesnar with the face paint?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't wear the paint.
He never put it on.
Yeah, he didn't wear the paint at the Royal Rumble. The last time, before tonight, the last time he wore the face paint was at SummerSlam when he beat Baron Corbin.
I'm gonna have to fact check that, bro, because I honestly think he just wore that shit.
He definitely didn't wear it at the Rumble, but you know, I mean, honestly, I'm not.
If he wore the face paint, he would not have lost.
I mean, I'm not even mad because it's like, you know, Bobby Lashley's my guy. He's a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. You know, I understand you got to give the fans the feel good moment because this guy spent all this time putting all that shit on his face. And like I told you before, like I said in the beginning of this conversation, now that Bobby's no longer IC champion and Seth Rollins, and we now have a full-time Universal Champion, after Seth Rollins gets a couple of title defenses gets a couple of title defenses under his belt, then I would just hope Lashley would step into that role and then eventually he could take the belt from him. But, you know, it was a cool match. Balor got the gold, so maybe he'll fight, you know, Baron Corbin now since Corbin all of a sudden is picking up these W's.
Back to the mid-card of evil.
Yeah, back to the mid-card. So, last match, the women's match for all the gold, the match for it all, Becky versus Ronda versus Charlotte. Charlotte came to the arena via helicopter, as though anyone gave a damn. Ronda Rousey had. That whole copter thing, it had been pre-taped. There's no way that even now that the helicopter is coming down to like a parking lot and nobody's around. Yeah, exactly. Because even then, like when they showed the clip of her in the helicopter, my first thought was, where the fuck are they gonna land this shit? So yeah, I think that was pre-taped. You know, Ronda Rousey had the people that do her theme music. I guess that was them that did it live, but that performance was that performance was very unenthusiastic. And the crowd booed afterwards, which was kind of awkward. And then Becky just came to the ring, like, you know, Becky just came down to the ringside like it was a SmackDown house show, and didn't do anything special. I mean, let's be honest, we knew how the story was going to end. I never wanted Charlotte in the match to begin with. Becky won the match. That's all I wanted. She pinned Ronda, so that's a plus. So Becky Lynch is actually the first woman to pin Ronda Rousey, and Ronda, because tonight was Ronda's 1-year anniversary because she debuted last WrestleMania. So she was she was basically like undefeated for an entire year, and now she has lost to Becky Lynch. So, I mean, my thoughts on it, it's not so much the three of them in the match, because again, we all knew Becky was going to win. My concern now, she has 2 titles, and Vince said publicly they're not going to unify the belts.
Nah.
So they're just going to have Becky go back and forth, and then Ronda might be leaving to, because she wants to start a family. So they're just going to have Becky defend. She's going to be on Raw and SmackDown defending both titles. Because the thing is, because the weird thing about it, I don't see Charlotte letting this go. And it's going to be awkward if Charlotte's like, hey, me and you still have some unfinished business. And then Becky's like, all right, I'll see you on Tuesday. Like your Charlotte Flair, you're going to show up on Raw. Which kind of defeats the purpose of having a brand split if you're going to let Charlotte go. If you're going to let Charlotte go wherever she wants, and if Becky's going to go back and forth between both brands. I guess the big question that I'm asking is, how long does she hold on to both of these titles? and which one does she lose first?
Considering Becky is on a high right now, like, I mean, I guess we gotta wait for like a brand split or something. Because no one besides Asuka has beaten like Becky, straight up.
The brand split wouldn't apply. The brand split doesn't really apply to Becky.
Well, no. So as far as like losing the belt, I mean, I guess all thoughts was supposed to be that Becky would just move to like Raw officially when she wins the Raw title. So since they haven't really built up anybody on Raw that's strong enough to like go for the belt, unless you want to take this opportunity for Bayley and Sasha to go for single titles. Like as far as SmackDown goes, and Charlotte will have a fuss. Like Asuka is the only other one. I mean, I want to say someone to like Naomi, but we see how she got treated in the Battle Royal. Like. And then there is and then you got Ember Moon, who just came back, so there's no time to build her up. Like at this point, the only thing I see is that they call up like Shayna Baszler from NXT. And she just like, and she just she does just like the Avengers movie coming up and avenge the Fallen.
Yeah, she tries to avenge like Ronda. I mean, I think. When it's all said and done, Charlotte is gonna Vince is gonna bring Charlotte to Raw, and I think Becky, the first title she loses will be the SmackDown title, because they're gonna want. I mean, I really hate to say this because just like Jay, like I'm not a fan of Bayley. I think because right now Charlotte and Becky are SmackDown superstars. Like that's where they are. When the shakeup happens, I think he's going to officially make Charlotte and Becky Raw superstars, and I think he's going to send Bayley and Sasha to SmackDown, which I hope doesn't happen. I actually hope he sends Sasha and Ember Moon to SmackDown and leaves Bayley on Raw. But I think they're going to switch. But when Becky finally does lose a title, I think she'll lose the SmackDown title first. But well, that was kind of like what I said when the match ended, because I was surprised how it ended, and I think like a lot of people were shocked, not so much because she got the pin on her, but they kept building this thing up so much, like the first time ever, the women's main event and blah blah blah. I think we were just expecting like a more like epic ending to the match, like
a dramatic finish was definitely something I thought was going to go down. But the moment that they took out Charlotte, and then it became the one-on-one, I was just like, all right, so I guess we're going to wind down now. And then she beat her the way she did and shit. It felt anticlimactic.
It was like you thought it was going to be epic, and it just turned out to be, like you said, But, and that goes back to what I said, Kofi should have main evented the damn show anyway. But, any final thoughts? Taker not being there, something you want to see in the future, your overall thoughts of the show. What do you give it from a scale of 1 to 10?
I Well, as far as that Taker comment, I mean, I'm kind of sort of done with Taker, but at the same time, it's like Hulk Hogan keeps popping up, so so if a Taker comes back, then I mean, by all means, I guess, like he could be the guy to officially come out and say, Kurt Angle, your career is over.
unless
but
Taker.
still overall, unless Taker what?
No, I said unless Undertaker wrestles Sting at Mania in a retirement match, I don't care if he comes back or not either way. But go ahead. Scale of 1 to 10.
I give the show a solid, I'm gonna say like 8.5, I guess.
See, that was a trick question. Kofi's the champion. This is the greatest wrestling. This is the greatest WrestleMania.
That's why I told you to mute his mic an hour ago.
First of all,
this is
if you talk about the show, first of all, the show as a whole is why it's so high in the first place. And Kofi did bring it up there, but but if you want me to make it a little bit better, then I'll say a solid 9 because of Kofi. But as far as everybody else, it's why the show as a whole is not a solid 10.
This is.
But
this was the greatest.
Not since the presidential election of 2008, when Obama and Hillary Clinton was going head to head, did we need a women's history moment and a black person, achieving the big one? So,
like I said,
so with that, yeah, I'll give it like a solid 9.
Listen, I don't know what he's talking about, so I'm just let him go ahead and say what he was saying. And I'm gonna give you a pass because obviously I'm gonna give you a pass because you're a fan of Bailey.
No,
I'm gonna let you ride with
I know you're past that, man.
I thought we were too. I thought we were past that.
I don't know why you brought that up for.
But no, at the end of the day, This is one of the WrestleManias that I paid the most attention to.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I will say, this is the best WrestleMania. It doesn't necessarily have the flair as other WrestleManias. It doesn't have the gimmicks. It doesn't have the antics of past WrestleManias. It doesn't have the big matches as past WrestleManias. It doesn't have the anticipation factor that most WrestleManias have. A lot of this WrestleMania was very underwhelming. A lot of these matches we saw coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, outcome-wise, we saw them coming.
Yeah.
But this was special.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean,
this one wasn't for. This WrestleMania wasn't only for the WWE universe. This wasn't only for fans of the WWE. You know what I mean? This is for the culture, man. Like, it's such a cliche phrase to use, like, yo, we're doing it for the culture, but this is one of those situations where you have to use it and say, this is for the culture, man. This is for us. This is for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we gotta treat it. We have a responsibility to treat it as such.
Yeah.
This is for us. So it's not one of those things where it's like, was I entertained? No, I really wasn't entertained. Was I in shock and awe the whole way? No. Did you bring out surprise guests that made me go, oh my God? No, you didn't.
But
did you do?
It gave us the one thing all the past WrestleManias that gave us all that stuff
Didn't do.
Yeah, they gave us the results that we wanted.
Exactly. See, basically what they're doing is what Evan, and this is to you. Okay. You're falling victim to the it wasn't a great WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a great WrestleMania. Rather than saying, no, we got a black champion out of this WrestleMania. And that's where people are going to try to, like, sway you or make you get lost in it. Like, oh, it wasn't that great of a WrestleMania. No, it was that great of a WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Because people can use those things. But at the end of the day, they're going to say, oh, it wasn't a great WrestleMania because it was a black champion. You know what I mean? Because, you know, if Daniel Bryan was to win, Kofi was to lose, oh, yeah, you can say, oh, they can make excuses on why this WrestleMania was really good. I'm going to wait. I want to wait and see what people really think about this WrestleMania. Because when you start seeing most people saying, oh, well, the WrestleMania in a whole was underwhelming. Why? Why? Because at the end of the day, what we wanted and what we fought for is what we got.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters.
Yep.
So it's a win. So when we get what we want, and this is what we wanted, and we've all been wanting this for a long time.
And then we took the goal, sucker.
And we got it. We came for it and we got it. This WrestleMania, it has to go down as the best. It has to go down as the greatest WrestleMania.
See, for me, as far as like WrestleMania matches, it goes top three for me. It goes Kofi Bryan 1, Rock Cena Miami 2, Naomi Orlando 3.
Now, to be honest, I put Naomi and Orlando above The Rock.
Yeah, I can see that.
But you and I had the conversation prior to that, and I called that.
Yeah.
Like, I called that match all the way down. You know what I'm saying? So we already know. Yeah. But, like, I feel like that one was better because, you know what? Again, that was a black woman.
Yeah, the first.
In her hometown.
Yeah.
Getting that goal. You know what I'm saying?
Against Alexa Bliss, who was the pretty white, blonde hair, blue eyed. You know, like
who was handpicked.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss was handpicked, and she shot to the top. I swear to God, Alexa Bliss, from the moment she came in to championship run, it might be just as fast as Sheamus.
That's a good point. That's
and you can't tell me that Sheamus' rise to the top was it?
No, that shit was forced.
That shit was 3 weeks.
That shit was forced like a motherfucker.
Blame Cena for falling the way that he did. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, like, no, this WrestleMania was great. I give it a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10. You know, even like, and I'm not doing it on anything else other than what I already stated. This is not going off matches. This is not going off wow factor. This is going off of about time you gave us what we deserve, bro.
Yeah. I gave it a 20 out of 10. So that's it. Yeah, that's it. We've hit the 2-hour mark. I am going to sleep before I get fired. This is definitely a WrestleMania that I'll be watching this WrestleMania probably at work. I'll be watching it over and over again. Gentlemen, thank you. This was actually our very first group discussion. Hopefully it won't be the last one. You know, check out the channel for more content and check out for more updates because we got other stuff coming on all platforms. So
real quick, I just want to plug the Keeping That Energy podcast. coming soon. We're doing a lot of big things. Network is coming up. What else? He is I and I am him. Guys, we got a lot of big things coming up in the future. Evan, more to come. We're gonna put you on all of that. Don't even worry about it. You will be a part of it no matter what, so no matter.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that next Brother War Street Fighter video. We're working on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Guys, it has been a pleasure. Yeah. Icon, as always, we have great conversation. I appreciate you for letting me be a part of this one. Thank you. All love and respect to everything you do. And I wish you nothing but the best in the future because I know all great things are coming to you.
Thank you, sir.
Same with you, E, even though you're a fan of bums, so please, I hope you're not a fan of me.
I think he's still on the sour because of the booking of a Bailey. This is your life. I
am. I just don't want you to be a fan of me because if I say you're a fan of bums and you say that you're a fan of me, then I might be calling myself a bum, and I don't want that. I need you to not tune in anything and not like anything.
That's it for me. So for E5, for H. Dot, for Icon, like I say, until next time, we's out this. Biatch.